The toxic Erskineville apartments. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian Heiser here and welcome to another episode of Heiser Says. My backup Stein in hand, and I thought we'd have a look at another apartment block in Sydney that has issues. Now this one is the HoneyComb and SugarCube. The SugarCube Apartments, HoneyComb terraces that have been, well, left unoccupied for 12 months because of contamination in the soil. And there's an article here from the Sydney Morning Herald. We'll have a look and then just look at the complex and a bit about the history of the area. So an Erskineville apartment development remains a ghost town more than 12 months after it was completed, with the City of Sydney refusing to allow owners to move in over fears the developer did not properly clean up the toxic land underneath it. Now, I've worked on projects out at the Brisbane airport where there's a lot of issues with the land. This is right near the fire station here, and because they do the practice, the teams need to practice with the chemicals they use in the fire trucks. There's a lot of issues in the ground there, and we had to get environmental reports done, and they had to manage, everything they did out there because of the toxicity in the ground. And that's just a sad consequence of how things were done in the past and just you working with these dangerous chemicals. Now, if we have a look at where the suburb is, this is a historical footage, and what we'll do is we'll just jump over here, and let me bring up Google Earth. We'll jump over here and we'll have a look. So this is Erskineville, and this is the SugarCube Apartments here. You can see, and we've got other buildings here. We've got the Zetland Apartments, Mascot Towers. The airport is here, and this is all a reclaimed essential industrial area. If we jump back here, we can see I did a previous video looking at groundwater, and we can see here, we're in the suburbs where there is an area of prohibited access to the groundwater because it's toxic. And I will link to that video. I'm just looking over to see what time it is, so I'll put a title card up to that video at about 2 minutes. You should see it above my head now if you want to learn more about just the groundwater here in the Bay Sands and some of the issues. But I looked at some historical aerial images, and I think we've got the airport here, and this is an old one from 1951. And unfortunately, we're kind of off the map above here, but you can see, large, huge storage facilities and industrial facilities all along the river. So the idea that there is toxic potential in the land that these are built on, in the groundwater, is not a stretch of the imagination at all. And it could prove to be a serious issue for anyone that was living here. So the City of Sydney is acting probably in the best interests of these people, but then did the developer do a shonky job? How did it get this far? And I haven't even read the article yet, but how did it get this far to then they go, oh, well, you finished the buildings. Oh, well, you didn't clean it up properly. How did it get that far? So the Herald's revelation that owners have been prevented from living in a fourth Sydney apartment building over safety concerns comes less than 24 hours after an emergency meeting between the state and federal government over the country's building standards crisis. It's got nothing to do with the standards for me in the game. That's Australian standards. It's a crisis of construction. It's a crisis of construction. It's a crisis of methodology. It's a crisis of conflict of interest. Our standards, our building codes, they're fine. They're fine. They can be adapted and used to get innovative solutions. There's nothing wrong with them. Putting the bloody styrofoam in garden beds in Melbourne that we looked at in a previous video, that's illegal in the building code, okay? There's nothing wrong with the legislation, nothing wrong with standards. It's how people are building these things, the methods that's being used. It's the people who are meant to check and sign off on these things. That's the problem. Are they going to miss the point? Are they going to miss the point? We need to get all these people registered so BDA membership or Institute membership or Engineers Australia membership can go up. Yes. That won't make any bloody difference. So long as we're still procuring these things under a design and construct method where the certifier, the architect, everyone is underneath the bloody builder who's the only voice with the developer, and they're happy to cut any corners they can because it's a Phoenix company they'll throw away. I'm just getting too cynical with this because I'm seeing too many of these bloody things. It's nearly every day I'm talking about another one. And people are sending me other examples. You know, oh, here's a apartment I've lived in. This is all the issues I've had there. And it's sad to see. It's sad to see. And really, I'd argue a lot of it's to do with overheating of the market, with all of the rapid population growth. I did a video yesterday as well, and I'll link to that one. I'm writing the time down here, guys, so I remember it, 5 minutes 17, where we looked at just the increase in our population as a relative to the increase of water supply. We went from under 20 million to 25 million in 2 decades, from 2000 to now. That is just insane. So no wonder we're getting all these issues. You know, they look nice in the photo, but no one can live in them. So back to this. The Zetland, Mascot, and Opal Tower apartments across Sydney have all been evacuated in the last 12 months due to major defects. There are no known defects in these apartments. Okay, but it's because no one's lived in them yet, guys. So, you know, well, no, there is. It is a defect. If the soil is contaminated, that's a defect. Okay, that is a major defect. The 109 SugarCube Apartments and 18 Honeycomb Terraces were built at the Old Ashmore Industrial Estate in Erskineville, with construction finishing in April 2018 according to promotional material. Furious buyers who paid upwards of $1 million for a slice of the sweet life. $1 million. $1 million for an apartment on contaminated land in the old industrial sludge area of Sydney. Up to $1 million. Up to $1 million. I need a coffee on that one, guys. The sweet life. They've been left in limbo. Some purchased off the plan as far back as early 2015. I hope they have only paid the deposit. In a statement to the Herald, a City of Sydney spokesman said the developer had not complied with the development consent conditions concerning the remediation of the site. So we saw something similar to this when we looked at the dilapidation report, yes, of Mascot Towers done by the Peak Tower developer next door, and all the requirements that were in their DA conditions. So manufacturing has left behind a cocktail of toxic substances on the land, including heavy metals, hydrocarbons, asbestos, and contaminated groundwater. The city was in ongoing discussions seeking a resolution with the developer, Golden Rain Development Proprietary Limited. Golden Rain. Is it really called Golden Rain? Okay, sure. You know, that's not much of a stretch from Golden Showers, is it? Wow, that just sounds like a dodgy company. I don't know. We understand that it is a most frustrating situation for all terrace and apartment owners, the City of Sydney spokesman said. Golden Rain Development did not return the Herald's calls on Thursday. The company website said it had a strong reputation in all facets of property development established over the last 15 years is nothing. 15 years is nothing. 15 years. Golden Rain has completed 30 projects across Asia. Oh, well, there you go. And Erskineville development is its flagship project in Sydney. Well, you've buggered that up, haven't you? Golden Rain. Buyers have taken to the City of Sydney's social media page to vent their frustrations about the never-ending saga. They complained of being forced to put their lives on hold as they stayed in spare bedrooms, Airbnb, and elderly parents' homes. All of our possessions are in storage or in bags and boxes, one man wrote. We've had to extend our home loan 6 times while we wait. It's a joke. We can't go on like this any longer. Another man complained he was utterly appalled by the lack of communication and transparency from all parties involved. Well, I mean, Golden Rain, it's not fit for purpose if you can't move in. You should be able to walk away and get all your money back. That's what I'd say. Constantly waiting for even the slightest shred of info to a never-ending saga leaves us feeling drained and anxious about the future of our apartment. The City of Sydney spokesman said it has been in regular contact with a number of purchasers. Let's hope it's just some bureaucratic stuff-up and the land isn't really a significant issue. Let's just hope it's just paperwork missing or something like that. That's what I hope. The developer has requested it addressed the contamination via an environmental management plan, which would require ongoing site monitoring. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. So you know who's going to pay for that? everyone in their body corporate fees, I bet you. The Strat, ongoing monitoring. The council has requested the plan be formally submitted in an application to change the existing development approval. So they didn't comply with the existing requirements, and now they want to manage it by monitoring it. Yeah. Yep. That's not a compromise, is it? That's not a compromise at all. The council has also asked for further testing and potentially further remediation works at the Honeycomb Terraces site, public areas and roads, giving access to the SugarCube Apartments. The development is situated on the corners of Matters and Zenith Streets, about 400 metres from the train station. The council spokesman said it was reviewing further test results and a risk assessment provided by the developer, and it would likely see further information. We will continue to work with the developer until we are satisfied they've taken all necessary steps to ensure the site is suitable for residential purposes, the spokesperson said. The city is acting to ensure the land is safe for future residents and the public, as well as avoiding any ongoing onerous management requirements being placed on future residents. How the hell can you get to this point with the building standing there finished and still be discussing these things? How the hell is that possible? How? Can someone tell me? Can someone tell me? This is well known that there's contamination here. This is well known that there was contamination there. Bloody hell. What is going on in Sydney? Why are we letting, developers with all this experience in Asian countries come to Australia and run projects? Why? Someone tell me. Okay? Someone tell me. Regardless if it all gets sorted out, it's still been a year where people couldn't access their homes. Someone please let me know in the comments, because it's starting to get me pissed. Contaminated groundwater can present a headache for developers of residential towers, particularly where volatile chemicals are present and additions such as basement car parks are required. Well, yeah. Volatile contaminants are readily released into the atmosphere as vapor. Volatile chemicals can move into buildings, ambient air, confined spaces, or evacuations on a site. A briefing from the Department of Environment said. Does everyone remember sick building syndrome? Is that still talked about these days? Remember sick building syndrome? I wonder if I'll be reading about this in 5-10 years' time. The potential risks to human health from this exposure pathways should be evaluated. Well, yes, you shouldn't have to be... It's just insane. It's just insane. The land, before they can build a bloody thing, before they can put one block in, before they can do anything, the land should be fit for purpose to construct. There should be a hold point when they start digging, when they start pouring, and they shouldn't have permission to proceed until the land is 100% right, because this is just crazy. So the Old Ashmore Industrial Estate is one of the City of Sydney's largest urban development projects. Oh, great. The 17-hectare site is being redeveloped in stages and is expected to accommodate around 6,000 residents by 2025. Well, do you want to live there, guys? I mean, look here. Do you want to live right here? Right near the railway line. Beautiful. Near the railway line, old industrial complexes and things. You got the river here. Oh, sorry, the canal. It is a canal, yeah. The canal, not the river. Right near the airport. Beautiful. Imagine the serenity. So, Golden Rain Development won approval in January 2016 to demolish existing industrial warehouses and build its $46 million residential development. The 7-story SugarCube building contains 109 apartments and sits opposite the Honeycomb Terraces, a row of 18 three-bedroom houses. Together, they have been marketed as amongst the most desirable residences ever to grace Erskineville. I'm having trouble with that name. Leafy Village Street. It's ex-industrial area. Bloody hell. When the Herald visited the site, it was deserted. Construction hoarding blocked off access to tastefully landscaped courtyards and walls of hanging shrubbery. So we'll just jump here and let's have a look at what we can see with my on-site reporting thanks to Google. Come on, zoom in. And you can see here, this is where it is. They're under construction. So, I mean, you know, it looks like a nice enough area. Expensive for what it is. But, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. So, at the same time, Federal Industry Minister Karen Andrews, should be Karen Tiny House Andrews, sat down for an emergency meeting with federal and state governments where it was agreed national building standards would be pursued. Okay. We have a national construction code. In the construction code, you've got the Building Code of Australia. There's addendums to it for each state with minor changes. Certain things in Queensland are different to the other states. A lot of it's captured in the Queensland Development Code. Some of those things were to do with, you know, rapid changes that can occur quicker in the legislation at a state level than you could at a national level. Like when we had the backpacker accommodation issue and they wanted to have more stringent fire and security measures put in place. Great. Maybe, rather, Karen, okay, before you piss money away looking at tiny houses and imagine that that's going to create a, you know, a boost to our construction industry, I should know that. Maybe the money you'd put on that, you can look at getting our standards freely available to every member of the public. Freely available to every person in the industry. Why should I, if I'm designing something and I'm legally required to meet a standard because it's referenced in the building code, why should I have to pay $300 just to look at the bloody thing? When it's been done by volunteer time. Okay? This is just, I'm over it. I'm getting sick of it. It's the same crap again. They're not going to achieve anything. We need to straighten these people out, and there needs to be voices in Parliament saying, you've buggered up. You really have. We've got all this crap happening in Victoria. We've got it happening here in Sydney. It'll start happening. We'll start hearing more and more about it here in Queensland. Ms. Andrews said the government would jointly fund an implementation team to carry out recommendations from the Building Confidence Report. Well, good luck. The Herald revealed last week the 30 loft apartments and, talking about Zetlands as well. And Sydney Olympic Park, and Mascot Towers. And we've got lacrosse and, you know, it's just crazy. It's beyond a joke now. It never really was. Less than a month ago, the minister responsible for New South Wales building industry, Kevin Anderson, said there was no great cause for alarm about building quality in the state and no need to rush into reforms. Yeah, of course not. You know, I'm sure you're not at risk of losing your home. The state government is consulting over a proposed reform package, which would include a new registration scheme for building designers and the appointment of a building commissioner. Oh, that's guaranteed to make a bloody difference. Yes, we got to register them. More paperwork and bills for the people that just do the drawings. That's going to work, yes. Because they had absolutely fuck all to do with the fact that the land is contaminated. Then the developer didn't do it properly. Yeah, that's going to address it. Come on. Do these politicians, how many of them are lawyers? How many of them have not actually had any real world experience? How many of them haven't run a business? Because I don't know. Maybe I'm too cynical. You know, maybe I'm just getting too cynical with all of this stuff. Sorry guys, I'm a bit angry about this because we're building on ex-industrial land here. Okay? We got a big bloody country. There's lots of land everywhere. Anyway. However, it has not indicated it will wind back the New South Wales system of private certification. Well, okay. Then you're not going to achieve anything because that's guaranteed a huge conflict of interest. Statutory warranty periods of just 2 years for minor defects and 6 years for major defects, and exemptions from mandatory insurance for builders over 3 stories. What? What? I didn't know they were exempt for that. What the hell? So mandatory insurance for buildings over 3... okay. Cool. Well, there you go. So guys, I'm frustrated that I have to share this story with you again. That, you know, in some ways, I feel this is worse than any of the others. Because there, if you've got defects, it's a dodgy construction. Here, if you've got contamination issues and the building's sitting here, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Yeah. Guys, thanks for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe. I have a range of various topics I cover on this channel. Not all of them is me yelling about dodgy buildings, but a lot of them seem to be at the moment. And I will see you all again tomorrow. Bye for now.